Hello from Lenexa, Kansas. Today we're looking at Job 36 and 37. Elihu is winding up his speeches to Job. He says, I'm going to speak for God now. God is mighty. God is mighty in strength. He is wise. He helps poor. He helps the poor. He ends the wicked. God exalts the righteous. He establishes kings. God is so mighty in power, he takes care of all of those things. He punishes the wicked with chains. He disciplines them. Hypocrites will get their just due, but the poor will be delivered. Listen, Job, be careful what you ask for, because God is great. Remember, he made everything in nature. And we kind of get a little bit of a few lists throughout this from Elihu of the kind of nature that God made that kind of gives us the wow factor. Elihu says that all this makes his heart troubled. God does great things. He thunders. He causes the wind, the rain, the snow. He's in charge of all the beasts and their actions. Who can fathom God? And this is really touching on a great thing for us to remember is how holy and awesome that God is, that he made all these things and they function like they're supposed to function. Pretty amazing. He asked Job the question, where were you when God stretched out the sky? I mean, I wasn't there. Were you there, Job? And that's kind of rhetorical because everybody knows, no, God did it by himself. He doesn't need our help. So Job, if you're so wise, teach us what to say to God. And this is like Elihu's saying, I've done the mic drop. You can't argue with this. And once again, a lot of these things are right. I mean, Elihu sees God rightly, that he's holy, he's mighty. You know, he's doing all these things around the world that we did not do, that we don't have the strength to do. We weren't even born yet. And all that's attributed to God. So God is so much greater. But once again, ignores the question that if Job is innocent, why did these bad things happen? You know, we all would agree that you pay consequences in your life, both good and bad, for your actions. Your choices have consequences most of the time. And that's just how it is. Everybody's in agreement on that. And we're all in agreement that God is amazing and mighty and powerful. Well, I guess maybe not all of us. But it's an easier conclusion to draw. But what this book now is pushing at is, why did this happen to Job? Why do good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people? And we still haven't answered that question, though they've gone round and round. So we're going to have to count on maybe our mysterious visitor coming in the next lessons to kind of settle that out for us. So in the meantime, Elihu finishes his speeches. And he said all he's going to say. He said some right things, and he has not fixed our problem in some other way. So let's jump into it. We're going to look in Job chapter 36. Elihu also proceeded and said, suffer me a little, and I will show thee that I have yet to speak on God's behalf. And I will fetch my knowledge from afar, and I will ascribe righteousness to my Maker. Again, a great thing to do. For truly my words will not be false. He that is perfect in knowledge is with thee. Behold, God is mighty and despiseth not any. He is mighty in strength and wisdom. So true. But he giveth right to the poor. Oh, he preserveth not the life of the wicked, but giveth right to the poor. So, down with the wicked, up with the poor. Mostly true, but sometimes not. Sometimes we see the wicked prosper for a time. He withdraweth not his eyes from the righteous, but the kings are they on the throne. Yea, he doth establish them forever, and they are exalted. God is so involved in his creation that government is under his control, under his power. If they are bound in fetters and beholden in cords of affliction, then he showeth them their work and their transgressions that they have exceeded. So God could put them in chains if he wants and shows them work to do because of their transgressions. He openeth also their ear to discipline and commandeth that they return from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasures. Now this is the part that may or may not be true. And the point that Job is bringing up is, hey, a lot of times you make good choices, you follow God, things go well. And that is true to an extent. But your life is not going to be perfect. That's Job. That's him being proof for that. But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge. But the hypocrites in heart heap up wrath. They cry not when he bindeth them. They die in youth, and their life is among the unclean. It's true a lot that people who are wicked and make bad choices are kind of bouncing off the wall of God, and they've got these consequences, but they're still living. They're just having a harder time of it. That's true sometimes. He delivereth the poor in his affliction, and opened the ears of in the oppression. Even so, he would have removed thee out of the strait into a broad place where there is no straightness, and that which should be set on the table should be full of fatness. But thou hast fulfilled the judgment of the wicked. Judgment and justice take hold on thee. Because there is wrath, beware lest he take away with his stroke, then a great ransom cannot deliver thee. So, Job, you've got wickedness going on because, look, you're having all the bad consequences. Will he esteem thy riches? No, not gold, nor all the forces of strength. So he doesn't care that you're wealthy. He can take all that away, and he did. Desire not the night when people are cut off from their place. Take heed, regard not iniquity, for this hath thou chosen rather than affliction. Behold, God exalteth it by his power. Who teacheth like him? Who hath enjoined in his way? Or who can say, thou hast wrought iniquity? Remember that thou magnify his work, which men behold. Every man may see it. Men may behold from far off. Look, this is all God's work. He's the mighty one, not you, Job. Behold, God is great, and we know him not, neither can we count the number of his years. For he maketh small the drops of water. They pour down rain according to the vapor of, which the clouds do drop, and distill upon man abundantly. Now we're getting into the works of God. How do we know God is mighty? Check out these works he made. The rain, the clouds. And also, any understand the spreadings of the clouds, or the noise of his tabernacle? Behold, he spreadeth his light upon it, and he covered the bottom of the sea. He made light, he made the ocean. For by them judgeth the people, he giveth meat in abundance. He's the one that gives everybody food. With clouds he covereth the light, and commandeth it not to shine by the cloud that cometh betwixt. The noise thereof showeth concern, the cattle also concerning the vapor. So he's providing life for animals. He's providing life for food. This is how amazing God is. So true. So true. Chapter 37. At this also my heart trembleth and is moved out of its place. Hear attentively the noise of his voice, and the sound that goeth out of his mouth. He directeth it under the whole of heaven, and his lightning unto the ends of the earth. After it a voice roareth. He thundereth with the voice of his excellency, and he will not stay them when his voice is heard. So God is thundering. He's mighty. God thundereth marvelously with his voice. Great things doeth he, which we cannot comprehend. So true. For he saith to the snow, be thou on the earth, likewise to the small rain, and to the great rain of his strength. And he sealeth up his hand of every man, that all men may know his work. Everybody knows this is God's work. God made it so, and we can see he did it. Then the beasts go into dens and remain in their places. Out of the south cometh the whirlwind, and cold out of the north. That is true. If you if you need to experience this, go to Oklahoma. It's that's if the south wind is blowing, we get warmth. If the north wind is blowing, it's cooler. That's just how it is. Right there. In Job. By the breath of God frost is given, and by the breath of the waters is straitened. also by watering he wearieth the thick cloud, and he scattereth the bright cloud, and is turned round about by his counsels, and they may do whatever he commandeth him upon the face of the world and the earth. He causes it to come, whether for correction, or for his land, or his mercy. So God is causing all this weather. He makes it. Frost, snow, rain, wind. That's all by God's hand. Hearken unto this, Job. Stand still and consider the wondrous works of God. Dost thou know when God disposed them, and caused the light of his cloud to shine? Dost thou know the balancings of the cloud, and the wondrous works of him which are in perfect knowledge? Now this is like almost an argument from authorities. Like, God is so expert. How can you argue with him? How can you say you're more righteous? Again, they're missing the point of the whole question. But they are talking about the wonder and majesty of God, which is true. They're just coming to a false conclusion because they have a false assumption. Dost thou know the balancings of the clouds, the wondrous works of him which is perfect in knowledge? How thy garments are warm when he quieteth the earth by the south wind? Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong as a molten looking glass? Teach us what we will say to him, for we cannot order our speech by reason of darkness. Shall it be told to him that I speak? If a man speak, surely he will be swallowed up. Like, are you really going to prove to God how great you are? No. And now, men see not the bright light which is in the clouds, but the wind passeth and cleanseth them. Fair weather cometh out of the north. With God is terrible majesty. So, fair weather comes out of the north. Just remember, it's all by God's power. He has majesty. Touching the Almighty, we cannot find him out. He is excellent in power and in judgment. And in plenty of justice he will not afflict. Men do therefore fear him. He respecteth not any that are wise of heart. So if you're too wise of heart, you're not going to be on good terms with God. So there we go. We've given glory to God in all his creation and all that he's made, and how powerful and righteous he is. And wisdom would be to follow him in his ways. And so he's encouraging Job to do that. But we already know Job is righteous. He did nothing wrong. So it doesn't answer the question. It really does show God's glory, which, amen, hallelujah. Let's give God the glory. But what is it that we need to do with the question, why do bad things happen to good people? Maybe our mysterious visitor tomorrow will shed some light on the subject. So please come see us then, and we'll catch you later.